it on?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start from...
In the future, they're going to think like, Tanya means, some... what is... This is just... Is it on? This stuff, but is it on? Esvei.
We're going to start from Esvei. Esvei on Yud Zayin Amud Bais. Okay, it's a very interesting Gemara. What's going on? We're discussing Asham Tali. Asham Tali is a carbon that someone brings if he's not sure if he did an avera that should have been a chatas, if he knew that it was an avera, but here he doesn't know if he actually committed the sin. So instead, it's an Asham Tali. So we just had a machlekes. If our Mishnah is saying that an Asham Tali is only if there were two pieces of meat, one was chelav, one was shuman, and he ate one of them. He doesn't know which one, but let's say there was only one piece, and he doesn't know if that piece is chelav or shuman. You see, there's one opinion that says that it's only if there were two pieces, and there was definitely one of them isser here, and he ate one of them, and we don't know which one he ate. That's when you bring an Asham Tali. The other opinion says no. Even if we don't know if there was Isser here, there was just one piece. Maybe it was us or maybe not. You still bring an Asham Tali. We're going to give three reasons throughout this Gemara of what is the source of that machlokes. Like, what is there anything better about having two pieces over one piece? It's the same suffix, right? So we just learned that this is a machlokes regarding our Mishnah between Rabasi and Reb Chia bar Rav. Chia bar Rav said you need two chatichas, and Rabasi said one chaticha itself was enough. Now, that's only a machlekes in what's the pshat in our Mishnah. What is our Mishnah referring to? Because our Mishnah seemed to have several cases. Maybe we could learn that one of those cases was only one chaticha, and we don't know if it was Yisr and he ate it. Okay, now, Esvi Rav Huna Ravasi. Rav Huna asks to Ravasi, Ramila Chia bar Rav Ravasi. Some say that it was Chia bar Rav himself asked Ravasi. See, Rav Huna is a student of Rav. Rav Huna is a student of Rav. And Chia bar Rav is not on the chart. Chia bar Rav is the one that's arguing with Ravasi. That's the one that's arguing. So either it's Rav Huna, same generation, or it's Chia bar Rav himself that held that you need two pieces, is now asking Ravasi the following question. We explained it that the machlekes was based on Yeshem Lemikra, Yeshem Lemasiris. Do you look at the vowels or do you look at the letters, at the consonants? So his question goes like this. Chela v'shuman lefanov. It says in our Mishnah that if there's kosher fat and non-kosher fat in front of him, and he eats one of them. Oh, it's interesting. That means you have two pieces of meat. One is definitely Yasser, and that's when he brings the Asham Tali. So you see, it's clear in our Mishnah. Why are you telling me that our Mishnah is only one piece? So it's clearly two pieces. My love, is it not me the Sefer Shtei Chatichas, that the Sefer, which is the top line of our page, Shuman v'chelav fanav, since that's two Chatichas, so Reisha Nami Shtei Chatichas. So the Reisha is also two Chatichas, because why would we switch if we're talking about two Chatichas? Now the problem is if you turn a page back, it says Safek Achal Chelav Safek Layachal. Rafilu Achal Safek Yeshbish. What is that talking about? Safek Achal Chelav Safek Layachal. Is that talking about that there were two pieces, or is that talking about one piece? So Chia bar Rav or Rav Huna is asking Ravasi, well, from the second case is two pieces, probably the first case is also two pieces. So what are you telling me that our Mishnah holds that even if you eat one piece, but you don't know what it is, that it's a Asham Tali? Amar Lahu Rav. Is this Rav? I wasn't talking to Rav. Or maybe it means...
It says Rav said to them, so maybe he was present.
Yeah, but he didn't ask Rav. He asked Ravasi. Maybe he was present.
Oh, but it says, Amri lechia barav Ravasi.
Yeah, but this is a response from Ravasi. Aleph. Okay, hey. No. Bais. Okay, maybe Rav was present. He says, Leita zila basar ribcha. Don't be like Tizla Basribcha. Don't be a devil's advocate. Don't look for questions. It's just like Bedafka. I'm going to ask you a question just because, just to find more questions. Don't do that. I could answer you very easy. That the ratio, it's quoting me the Seifa, and you're telling me that, you see the Seifas like that. That means the ratio is also. I'm talking about the ratio. It doesn't say anything like that in the ratio. He says. Yesh loimar chaticha achas mechayev shtei chatichas tzrich lameimar. Says no. If the seif is two chatichas, so that's the more obvious one. So what's your first case? First case is one chaticha. That's a machlekes. That we don't know if that you really chayev. So if you tell me the machlekes case that you chayev asham tali with one chaticha, then you're going to go on and tell me the more obvious one. Why should you do that? It must be that both cases are two chatichas. So the Gemara answers, Zu vein tzarech l'meimar zu. Sometimes there's a way of talking that you say, here's a chiddush, and I don't even have to tell you the next thing. And that's what our Mishnah is doing. The chiddush it said first, and then it went on and said, and there's no reason to mention two chatichas, but that's the obvious one.
It's like, I'm not going to tell you about what the other guy did. If I'm not going to tell you that. You know that?
I hear.
Which one is more of a chiddush?
The first one.
The first one chaticha. See, the idea is like this. We have so far we only learned one reason. There's another two, but one reason was that it says, achas mikol mitzvahs Hashem asher leisei asena v'lo yada v'ashem menasa avayne. So when it says he did one mikol mitzvahs Hashem, now when it says mitzvahs, it's written with one vav, so it's a chaser. So you could read it mitzvahs. So one opinion holds that you only need one piece of meat that is a doubt if it was chaylev or not. The other opinion says no, you read it mitzvahs. You did one of these two things, which is you needed to have two pieces there. One of them needed to be aser, and the other one not. And you ate one of them. The Torah is telling me that I'm not allowed to eat it when there's one aser and one's not. And
isn't it more of a chiddush than when it's two that you bring?
Why?
Because it's a svek.
No, one of them is vaday.
What?
One of them is vaday aser. The question is which one you eat.
It's more of a suffix on two than one.
No, so
it'd be more of a chiddush to say on two than one.
No, so the Gemara is going to say later that you see when you have two pieces, I have ikva yisura. There's definitely yisur here. The question is which one you ate. When I have one piece, I don't even know if there was any yisur. It could be the whole thing was kosher.
3 generations.
Right, that's our issue, right? One piece means was it us or was it? I don't even know. I don't know anything. It could be the whole thing didn't start.
All right, sorry.
Okay, but we'll see soon that's a. Ulachia barav damar mi the sefer b'shtei chatichas reishanami b'shtei chatichas. According to Chia barav, that says that the reisha is two chatichas. The sefer is for sure two chatichas. That's no machlekes. Question is what's the reisha? He says that the reisha is also two chatichas. So he says misna tarti lamli. So why do you have to repeat it? He said two chatichas already. Then you say it again. Say prusha kamafarish. He's explaining. Safek achal chelav, safek layachal. Maybe Hashem talei. And then it's missing the word, but the word is ketzad. Missing the word ketzad. What it would be a case? Go and show you chelav b'shum l'fanav. It left out a
explanation of how it was.
interrogative. Yeah. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Hayu lefanav, shtei chatichas. He has two pieces in front, achas shel shuman v'achas shel chelav. Achal achas mem bein yedei mem achal. He ate one of them, he doesn't know which one he ate. He's chayev. Chaticha achas, but if let's say there's only one piece, safek shel chelav, safek shel shuman, it's a doubt if it's chelav or shuman. V'achla, and he ate it, it's pater. Very clear. He's going like Ravasi. Maybe that's interesting.
Against Chia Barav.
Yeah. So, no, 1 second. Yesh Aim Chia Barav said, no, he's going with Chia Barav. He's going against Ravasi. So when we said before Amalahu Rav, Amalahu Rav, it wasn't really his opinion. Or maybe that's not what Rav is doing here. Maybe what Rav is doing is telling us the halacha. That machlokes between Rabasi and Chia Barav was Shaninu. What is our Mishnah referring to? Now Rav is telling us the halacha. It has nothing to do with that, with how to learn the Mishnah. Rav is telling us the halacha is the way Chia Barav learned it, that you need to have two pieces. Amar Rava. Rava says, it's supposed to be Rabba, it says over here. My time of the Rav, what's the reason for Rav? You have Rav also. My time of the Rav, what's the reason for Rav? The Makra, the pasuk says, "Va'asa achas mikol mitzvahs Hashem." If someone does from one of the commandments of Hashem, bishkaga, ad sheyishkag b'shtayim.
You read mitzvahs. I'm just double checking.
Mitzvahs. It's supposed to be mitzvahs.
Oh, so I wasn't clear. Did you write? Did you do the singular or the plural?
I think that in the vowels it says mitzvahs. But I would have to
Mitzvahs. Okay.
mitzvahs.
Okay, so I'm listening.
So he goes like this: ad sheyishkag b'shtayim. The mistake has to be made from two pieces. And because mitzvahs ksiv, but mitzvahs karinan. It says mitzvahs, but you read it as mitzvahs. Mm-hmm. So do you follow the pronunciation, not the yesterday my example for this was an hour that we follow. It's interesting that we follow the pronunciation, not the vowel. Eisvei Abaya. Abaya has a question on Rabba's explanation. Rabba's explanation for Rav was that I learn a pasuk, mitzvahs, I read it mitzvahs, and that means that I need to have two pieces there, and you ate one of them. Rabbi Eliezer says, koi, or kvi, I don't know how to read it, chayav alav Hashem taloi. Yechayev, if you eat chaylev of a koi, not the fish, but the buffalo, I guess, or something like that.
Buffalo?
Maybe, I don't know if it's a chaya or a behemoth. If you eat chaylev from it, so chaylev, these fats are only forbidden if it's a domestic animal. If it's a wild animal, if it's a chaya, then the chaylev is permissible. That's how it is, like chaylev from a deer. That's permissible. So a koi, or a kvi, I'm not sure, how does the arts go, right? Koi? Yeah, koi? Okay. That's a machlekes. They would say the Chassidim read it one way, the literature read it another way.
And I'm Hungarian.
So koi. So it's if someone eats chaylev from a koi. Now it's a question if that's real chaylev. Rabbi Eliezer says that yechayev. Now over there you don't have shtei chatichas. Over there you just have one piece of meat, and it's a doubt if it's chaylev or not, depending on what status this animal has. It's a kasha on Rav. Rav says you need to have two chatichas. One of them is definitely chaylev. You ate one of them. You don't know which one you ate. That's when you bring an Hashem Tali. Here you see you bring an Hashem Tali, even when we don't know what the status of this meat itself is. Amalai responds, Rabbi responds, Rabbi Eliezer Savar Yeshem L'Maseiris. Rabbi Eliezer says you follow the text, the consonants, not the vowels. And mitzvahs ksiv, you only need one piece. He reads it different. Eisvei has a question. Safik ben Tishel Rishon ben Shiva Lachran, Yetzi v'avlad kasher, v'chay b'Hashem Tali. Here we're talking about a woman that did yibum. I mean, she's marrying her brother-in-law. And then she has a baby. 7 months after the marriage, 9 months from the first husband. Now, she's not allowed to marry her brother-in-law if that baby is from the first husband. So here, there's a child that was just born. So this Mishnah says, it's a suffix where this child is from. If it's from the first husband or the second, you're supposed to wait 3 months. They didn't. So the 3 months should determine if she's pregnant, but they didn't wait. So we don't know if the pregnancy was before.
Forget about it.
What is it? Sorry?
The genetic test.
Oh, okay. So you'll see that may come up actually. So
the brothers were twins. Just kidding.
Yeah, that could be.
Very different.
So the halacha is she needs to divorce this man because we don't know if there's a child. The child, though, is not considered a mamzer. Why?
Why did she have to divorce him? She's not allowed to marry him anyway?
No, she's not allowed to marry her brother-in-law.
If she had a baby.
She had a baby. It's only Mitzvah Yibam when there's no child.
Uh-huh.
So the child is not a mamzer because let's say the child is from the second husband that she's allowed to marry. Oh, it's all good. Let's say the child's from the first husband. It's all good.
No, it's not.
Right? Mimanavshach, it's all good. The child is fine. The question is, can she stay married? She has to get to it.
Pay alimony, that's all.
The Chayav Hashem Talei, and he has to bring an Hashem Talei. Now, 1 second. Hashem Talei, because it's he married his sisters.
Or not her?
That's interesting. Torah they both do. He has to bring an Hashem Talei because it's his brother's wife. So the problem here is I didn't have two women that he lived with one of them, and we don't know which one it was. And if according to Rav, the way Rav is explaining, I need two people, and one of them is definitely Asir. Here, I don't even know if it's Asir. And you bring an Hashem Tali. Hamani Rabbi Lezer, we have to say this is Rabbi Lezer that follows the consonants, not the vowels. Eisvik, Nimsal Shaloi. He's talking about a man that's living with a woman, and it's unclear if she's a nida lemafreya. What happens is, if it retroactive,
Apparently it's a fresh apple.
Very nice.
He just picked it
Beautiful.
up the trick.
He told me he was apple picking.
It's from upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Yeah, gotta collect money for Larry and save that. Upstate New York. This goes for the store.
She's not from this one.
Shehechianu fruit.
So, he uses a cloth to see if she's tamei nida. See if there's blood. He uses a cloth. She uses a cloth. What's happening here? This is nimsal shalai. If he finds blood on his own cloth, then tmeim. Then they're both tamei, and obviously she was nida. The chayavim b'karban has to bring a karban. Al shalah. Let's say she finds it on her. Then it could be it came afterwards. So it depends. Asiyayim means immediate. Asiyayim, if it was immediately afterwards, then Tameim, then they're both Tameh. Then they say they were Tameh at the time of the relations. But B'chayavin b'karban, and they have to bring a karban for that achatas. He lived with Anida. Nimtzal shalah, if she finds it on her cloth, lachar zman, but a little bit later, then we don't know if she was Anida back then at the time of the relations. It could be it came later. So Tamei misafik, they're both Tamei misafik, because we don't know. And they don't have to bring a carbon chatas. The Tani Allah was thought about that. Chayav mishamasham talei. She found it later. We don't know if she was Tamei back then at the time of the relations. So Asham talei, because of the doubt, that's a problem. There were no two women there. One was Tamei, one not, and he doesn't know which one. Hamani Rabbi Lezer. We have another answer. Rabbi Lezer. Amar Chia, Amar Chia, Amar Rav. Amar Chia, Amar Rav. Something's wrong here. Amar Rab Zera. Amar Rav. Rab Chia was Rab's uncle. He wouldn't be saying the name of Rav. It's you have to correct it to Rab Zera. Rab Zera, Amar Rav. Hayu lefanav shtei chatichas. If there's two pieces of meat, achar shel chelev, achar shel shuman. One is chelev, one is shuman. V'achal achas me'avini de'ez ezme machal. He ate one of them. He doesn't know which one he ate. Chayev. Chaticha. But if let's say there's one piece of meat, safik shel shuman, safik shel chelev achla, he's pater. Okay. We know that already. We already said that. Rav said that already. Who did we say? That was Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav. The only chiddush here is the following part. Amar Rab Zera explains my time of the Rav. What's the reason for Rav? Listen to this. Here, Abi. If there's two pieces of meat and he eats one of them, then I can go back to the piece that he didn't eat and I can do some testing and see if possibly we can determine if the one that he ate was the real one that's the Yisr. And what we're gaining there is
those available times, how would they test it?
You're bringing a nashim tali.
Right.
You bring a nashim tali to protect you from the punishment that you could get from the sin, and until you bring a chatas, you bring a nashim tali just in the interim. Now, what's happening here is that.
I mean, if you determine it was a problem, you bring a chatas also.
Yeah. Now, what we're looking for is that maybe some expert is going to be able to come and taste this other piece of meat, a non-Jew or something.
He's going to be chayiv also.
Maybe a non-Jewish, let's say a non-Jewish expert or something.
I'm the Jewish expert on
Right?
Should it be like a guy in every panel be willing to do that?
No, they said, with the guy that he stopped asking the Rav his questions. So he said, how come he stopped coming? So he said, because he said in the shir that the treifa meat you give to the dog. So every time I had a question if the meat was kosher, I would ask the dog. If the dog ate it, then it means it's treif. He said, so what's going on? So he says the dog was too machmer. So here, if there's two pieces of meat, so that means there's one piece left. So I don't know the meaning of that, but someone used that story in the wrong. So if there's two pieces of meat, efshalavari surai, you can check later to see in the laboratory or whatever with an expert which one he ate, and then you'll be able to bring a carbon chatas. But chatichachas efshalavari surai. But if there's one piece of meat, you don't have to bring an ashram tali because it's never going to be determined. And you can't be mavar, you can't determine.
Why would you not be able to determine one piece of meat whether or not?
Because you ate it already.
I ate it already.
We didn't know that piece what it was. There's nothing left here. There's no evidence. So my yikah bein taima de Rava. There's supposed to be Rabba. The time of the Reb Zera. What's the difference between these two reasons? This is a very interesting piece. Reb Zera's reason is because you want some remnants here to be able to determine some evidence. And Rabba's reason was because we read the pasuk mitzvahs in the plural. Listen to the difference. Let's say there wasn't really two pieces of meat. There was 1.5 pieces. So liv Rava leka mitzvahs pater. According to Rabbi, you don't have two prohibitions here. You only have 1.5. So you're going to be exempt because you need 1 from 2. Because it needs to be mitzvahs. You don't have a kazayas in the other one. You can still do the laboratory testing on half a piece. You don't need a shear for that. Okay. They didn't actually have laboratories like we have, but they would have people that were expert tasters that could taste. Today, there are people that are expert. It's a huge study. It's a huge study. Okay. They go around, the wine tasters, they go around smelling everything, and then when the wine, they smell books, they smell this, they smell shoes, and then when they describe the wine, they say it smells like old books, smells like old shoes.
I knew a wine taster that was a pregnant woman.
The baby smelled it. Okay. Eisvei Rabbi Yirmiyah Reb Zera. Here, Rabbi Yirmiyah is asking Reb Zera. He says, Rabbi Lezer Reimer, Koi chayav al chel b'yasham tali. Rabbi Lezer says, you said you need 2 pieces of meat because you need to be mavar. How are you going to be mavar? What a koi is? Someone ate the chelav of a koi. What are you going to do? How are you going to be mavar that? We don't know. It's just the whole thing is a suffix. It's like the kid in medical school. They gave him a test. They said, "What is the appendix to?" He says, "Oh, I knew. I just forgot." So how are you going to be mavar what a koi is? No, we don't know what it is. Okay, so Amar le Rabbi Lezer. He says Rabbi Lezer served bin lavarisu. Rabbi Lezer doesn't hold of this. He doesn't hold that you need to be mavarisu. Just like Rabbi Lezer, we said before, yesh in Messiris, that he follows the consonants. Here the answer is Rabbi Lezer holds that you don't need to be mavar. Esvei. Another question. this slightly repetitive, but these are all the questions. Before we asked the questions on Rava, now we're asking them on Reb Zera. Safek ben Tishel Rishon ben Shiva Lachar, and it's a Safek who the father is, the deceased, or the new husband, or the brother. Yotzi, so she gets divorced. Havlad kasha, but the child is not a mamzer. V'chayiv basham tali, and chayiv basham tali. So here, where we said 1 second, there's no DNA testing. How is going to be mevarer? Or like you said, they were twins. Hamani Rabbi Lezer, it must be Rabbi Lezer that holds that you don't need to be mevarer. Ask me another question. Nimshal shlasi yom. If he finds it on her cloth, it's called an aid. On her cloth, immediately asiyim. Tmeyim, then both of them are tamei v'chayavim b'karban, and they both have to bring a carbon. Nimsal shalal achar zman, but if you find it on her cloth a little bit later, tmeyim misafik p'tur min a carbon. They don't have to bring a carbon chatas, because it could be that at the time of the relations she was not tamei yet, but maybe yes. So they don't bring a carbon chatas. But tanei lachem basham tali. How are you going to be mevarer? Can't go back and find out. There's no evidence there. Hamani Rabbi Lezer.
What's the difference between the first Eily and the second Eily? Why does it have to say it twice? Safek Netishel Rishon.
Last time we were asking on Rabba, and on Rabba we were asking that Yeshem L'Masayos. So we said Rabbi Lezer doesn't hold of Yeshem L'Masayos. Rabbi Lezer holds Yeshem L'Masayos, not Yeshem L'Mikra. Now we're asking on Reb Zera, and we're asking about Efshel Levar. We're saying Rabbi Lezer doesn't hold of Efshel Levar. It's basically the same discussion, just Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Bar Avua, Amar Rav. Wow. Rav Nachman says the name of his father-in-law. Rabbi Bar Avua says in the name of Rav. That's... Yeah, Rav Nachman.
Was Reish Galusa.
Reish Galusa, right. Or the family of the Reish Galusa, in the name of Rav. It says, Hayul Afan of Shtei Chaticha is, you have two pieces, Achar Shel Chel V'Achar Shel Shuman. One is forbidden and one is kosher. V'Achal Achas Mem V'Nei Deis Mem Machal is Chayev. Then he is Chayev. But Chaticha, Safik Shel Chel Safik Shel Shuman V'Achla, it's Potter, in the name of Rav. This is the third statement in the name of Rav. We had Rabbi Yehuda Amarav, we had Zera Amarav, and now we have Rab Nachman Amarav, Rabbi Baravua Amarav. And Amar Rab Nachman, my time of the Rav, here's where the differences come in the explanation, the commentary. Kasavar, my time of the Rav, Kasavar Shtei Chatichas Ikva Yisura. If I have two Chatichas, then, see, you like Rab Nachman from years ago, that Ikva Yisura, over there's one piece that's definitely Aser. And you may have eaten that piece. But Chaticha Achas, like Ikva Yisura, we don't know anything. There's no established Isur there. Could be there's nothing. Could be there's nothing wrong. Now we ask, what's the difference between the two answers, the two explanations, Reb Nachman and Reb Zera? It could be Nayo. The difference is, let's say there are two pieces. One's not kosher, one's kosher. The non-Jew came and ate the first one. The Jew ate the second one. So now, the first one is gone. The other one is gone. It's not here. It's eaten by a non-Jew. So, Lirabba is supposed to say, Leka mitzvahs be'idna dachal Yisrael.
There's no double.
You don't have two at the time that he ate it. The Jew only chose from one of them. L'Rab Zera, Ef Shalavar Yisuri. According to Reb Zera, you can't determine. There's no remnants. There's no. There's no evidence. The Reb Nachman Ikvi Yisur. According to Reb Nachman, one of them was definitely Aser. It's not here now, but it was definitely an Isser here. Eisvei Rav Reb Nachman. So Rav asked Reb Nachman. What's this Aleph? Okay. Rabbi Lezer Reimer Koiche Yavan Al Chel Bayashim Talei. Same questions again. Rabbi Lezer says that a koi you have to bring an Ashim Talei. How do you bring an Ashim Talei? For a koi, there's no ikva Yisura. We don't know if the chelav of a koi is Aser. Rabbi Lezer Leiboy Kvi Yisur. Rabbi Lezer doesn't require that. Eisvei has another question. Safik ben Tesla Rishon ben Zayin Lachen. It's a Safik. if it's a child of who the father is, the deceased or the brother. Yotzi, so he has to divorce her, v'avlad kosher, but the child is not a mamzer, v'chayim b'ashim tali. He's chayev to bring an ashim tali. Why does he bring an ashim tali? There was no ikva yisura. It was never established that it was prohibited. It was never established. We don't know. Hamani Rabbi Lesser. So it's Rabbi Lesser. Rabbi Lesser that holds that you don't need kviyasa d'isura. Eisvei. It's another question.
You don't need kviyas, you just need
just one possibility. Yeah. Eisvei. It's a question. Nimsal shalai. If they find the blood, the nida on his cloth, so tmeim, then she was definitely tamei. Comes from her. Achayavin bekarban, they have to bring a carbon. Nimtzal shalah, if it's found on her cloth, asiyayim, if it's immediate, then tmeim, achayavin bekarban. Then we say that she was tamei at the time of the relation. But nimtzal shalah chazman, if you find it on her cloth afterwards, the blood, so tmeim misafik. Both tummy misafik. But you don't have to bring a carbon. But you have to bring an ashim tali. This is Rav asking Rav Nachman the question. What's the issue? The issue is that there was no ikva isura at the time of the relations. There's later on we see that